Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to MJC Sports YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be ranking all 32 defenses. Max already did the offenses, so I'm going to do the defenses. There's a couple of things we're going to take into consideration. Number one, what's your talent looking like? Number two, what's your coaching staff looking like? It's not really based off where I think they're going to end up at the end of the year, so don't get your panties in a bunch if your team doesn't rank as high as you would think. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, all that good stuff. Let's get right into it. At dead last, we got the New Orleans Saints. I'm sorry, Saints fans. All due respect to DeMario Davis. All due respect to Cameron Jordan. You guys are going to suck this year, though. You guys lost Dennis Allen. Tyler Shoug's at quarterback. Tyrann Mathieu retired. They have a couple guys like Brian Breesy that may break out, but I highly doubt it. They lost some players. They lost coaches. I just don't think it's going to be a good year for the New Orleans Saints. They're at 32. At number 31, we got the Miami Dolphins. Maybe I'm basing this off of training camp. I don't know if you guys seen, but the Detroit Lions absolutely torched this secondary. This secondary is probably going to be the worst in the league. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick back, but their talent is just not there. I really like their defensive line, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. But Jalen Phillips, he can't stay healthy. It's just not a good look. I think it's going to be a bad year for Mike McDaniels as a whole and as his team as a whole. 31 for the Dolphins. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry, this is not offense we're talking about, because if it was, they will be higher. On defense, it's a totally different story. I don't think Lou was the problem. I think it's a talent issue. They need to get younger. I'm not big on Shamar Stewart. Even if you were, I don't think he's going to be that much of an impact to the point where it's going to shoot them up the top 10. Who knows what's going to happen with Trey Hendrickson? He's on the trading block. I don't even know if he's going to be on this team by the start of the season. There's too many question marks. There's not that many impactful players. We'll see what happens. For now, they're at 30. Sorry, Bengal fans. The Tennessee Titans. Let's just be honest. It's all about Cam more than the offense. I think more of the attention is going to be there. On the defensive side, they got some aging guys. They need to get younger. L'Jarius Sneed, I think he's out of his prime. Jeffrey Simmons, he's still good. Maybe he has one more year of that elite status, but he's aging. The one guy that I like on their defense that's super young is T'Vondre Sweat, but he's a defensive tackle. He comes out on third down. He's not going to be impactful to the point where this team is just going to be the best defense in the league. Sorry, Titan fans, but I'm putting you guys at 29. All right, the Indianapolis Colts. They're at 28 for me. They bring in my boy Big Lou. He might have a redemption season. I'm not going to lie, but the talent just kind of scares me. I really like Latu last year, but I'm kind of thinking that his ceiling is not going to be all that high. They need a lot more pieces on defense to really elevate this team. Their secondary for me is what really scares me, though. They got Kenny Moore. Max is going to hate me for this, but he's not lightning in the bottle no more. He is old as shit. They got Charvarius Ward, but I think he's past his prime. I don't think he's going to be all that good for this Colts team. Hopefully, Lou can really elevate them into a middle-of-the-pack defense. I'm banking on them being at the bottom half, though. All right, Dallas Cowboy fans, look. As a whole, I just don't think it's going to be a good year for you guys. So that means you guys' defense is going to be bad too. Micah Parsons, love him. One of the best edges in the league. I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to start this season? Is he even going to be on the team? Who freaking knows? They got Trayvon Diggs. They got Bland. I don't think it's a talent issue. I really don't. I think I'm more banking on the morale of the team. I don't think it's going to be a good season. And honestly, I think the players are going to quit out on this coaching staff. I don't believe in the coaching staff. I don't believe in the ownership. I think as a whole, it's just a bad vibe going on with the Dallas Cowboys this year. Let's go to 26 for the Cleveland Browns. This is the lowest drop-off that I had from a team from last year. Last year, they were a top 10 defense. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. Myles Garrett is fantastic. He's one of the best edges in the league, if not the best. They drafted Mason Graham. I love them coming out of the draft, but I don't think Mason Graham's going to be to the point where he elevates this team into a top 10 defense. And as far as the coaching staff goes, Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, go ask Max. The defenses don't get good over time. He loves the blitz, and I don't think he has the personnel to do it this year. They have a lot of injuries. JOK, he's going to miss the season. Who knows if he's ever going to play again? Emerson, he's out for the season. The same thing I said with the Cowboys, the morale of the team is just kind of down. The offense is going to be a problem, and I think their offense is going to put their defense in really bad situations. Now, let's get into 25. This hurts my heart, man, but as a Raider fan, I gotta be truthful. Max Crosby, absolutely amazing. Love him. He's gonna be great. But the defensive tackle position and the secondary scare me to death. They have a rookie starting on the other side of Eric Stokes. I believe in Eric Stokes. I think he's going to be fine, but Darian Porter is a question mark. It scares me to death. Second of all, the defensive tackle, it's Adam Butler. You guys probably don't even know who Adam Butler is. I like him. He's a solid rotational piece, but as far as him being your starting defensive tackle, it scares me. I don't think this team's going to be able to stop the run, and I don't think Max Crosby is going to be able to get to the quarterback fast enough than wide receivers getting open against this secondary. This is going to be more of a build-off year for Pete Carroll. It's going to take some time for his defense to get implemented. I know Patrick Graham has been there for many regimes. Let's just pump the brakes on the Raiders. It's going to be a rebuild year. Nothing too crazy. Okay, let's go to the Washington Commanders. I think they're going to wind up ranking better than where I put them as far as total defense goes, but it scares me. I think this team can have a major drop-off. I would put them a lot lower on this list if it wasn't for Dan Quinn. Let me break it down. Bobby Wagner, one of the all-time greatest linebackers that we have ever seen lay foot on a football field. All-Pro last year. Dude, he's 35 years old. I think it's not crazy to think that he's going to drop off this year. They got Marshawn Lattimore, who I think is a little bit out of his prime as well. The one great thing about Dan Quinn is that he makes the defensive line elevate. Now, they signed a guy in Javon Kinlaw, who's making a little bit too much money for my liking, but the guy that I'm circling is Johnny Newton. Love them coming out of Illinois. I think he can have a big year, but just not big enough to put them in the top 10 or top 15. They're still in the lower half of defenses. The Carolina Panthers, I have them at 23. This is a little bit higher than people may expect. This may be my Panther love, but 2 rookie pass rushers. Love Nick Scorton, but he's already hurt. This team lacks depth. I think this needs to be a building block here. 2 guys in particular, J.C. Horn, who's already gotten paid, a little bit too rich for my blood, but hey, he's still a really good corner. And number 2, Derek Brown, who can arguably be in the conversation with Dexter Lawrence and Quinnen Williams for one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Those 2 guys need to take leadership roles this year and be those veterans on that team and really set the standard for some of these young guys that they have. I don't think this is the year that it all comes together, but watch out for the Panthers a year or 2 from now. Okay, let's go to the Rams. The Rams are so weird, man, because they play better than what their talent really is. Their secondary scares me, like always, but they always get the job done. They have one of those defenses where they can get a stop when they need to. The defensive line is what really excites me about this team. If you're banking on the Rams being a top 10 defense, it's all in Jared Verse. Jared Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, he can have a major leap this year. But I do think that their secondary is going to hold them back. I'm banking on coaching, and I'm banking on that defensive line. When it comes down to the playoffs, they're going to be just fine. They're going to get stops when they need to, like I said. But it's all about the offense. Let's just be real. Okay, let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I put them at 21. I really wanted to put them higher, but they got a couple of question marks. I got to wait and see. Number 1, Trayvon Walker. Super talented guy. He's kind of living in the shadows of Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of people are saying that he's overdrafted, bust, all that stuff. I don't think he's all that bad. I think there's some real potential for a huge leap year for Trayvon Walker, but it's yet to be seen. Number 2, Travis Hunter. I would feel a lot better with him playing a full-time role at corner, but he's going to be part-time. We will see if he can make some splash plays for them, but as a whole, I think this team is going to be depending on more of their offense than their defense. So I'm going to put them at 21 for now. Let's go to number 20 with the Atlanta Falcons. Another team where I feel like they can have a big leap, but it's yet to be seen. They're depending on some rookies, 2 in particular, and James Pierce and Jalen Walker. I think Jalen Walker is going to help them with that tackling issue because they were horrendous at tackling last year. What stops me from putting them higher on this list is honestly Raheem Morris. From my perspective, I feel like when you hire your head coach and he's a defensive-minded head coach, Your defense should be a lot better than what the Atlanta Falcons showed last year. This is the year to show it. Their offense is a lot better. Their defense, they drafted 2 impactful rookies who can have some real big splash plays this season. I can easily see this team failing and honestly firing their head coach because of the way that their defense is playing. They need to step up in a major way. They have the pieces to do it now. I love AJ Terrell. Let's see what they do. And if they hit big with those rookies, they'll definitely shoot up this list. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's go to the Arizona Cardinals, who I put a little bit higher just because of my co-host Max. We're talking about them in our preview. And honestly, they've been one of those defenses under the radar who's played very hard, very solid the last couple of years under Jonathan Gannon. I need to see it, man. I love Budda Baker. I love the fact that they got Josh Sweat, because I think one of the main problems with the Arizona Cardinals over the last few years has been pass rush. They've been lacking that completely. They really added 3 guys to their defensive line: Walter Nolan, Josh Sweat, and Darius Robinson. Now, I know Darius Robinson was on the team last year, but he was hurt. He barely got to play. Josh Sweat, as Max likes to say, he's a professional pass rusher. He's going to get to the quarterback. Not a big fan of Walter Nolan, but if he can be the 3rd guy, that's great for the Cardinals. It's a lot of wait and see, but they have the talent to do it. I didn't even mention Will Johnson yet, who I absolutely love at corner. It's a lot of rookies. It's a lot of guys that we have to wait and see. I'm just pumping the brakes to be on the safe side. But if you're like Max, I wouldn't be surprised if you have them as a top 10 defense going into 2025. All right, the New York Jets. Number 1, they have a new regime. Aaron Glenn is coming in. He's going to implement his system. A lot of guys are going to have to acclimate to that. I love their defensive line. Sauce Gardner got paid this year. Their safeties kind of scare me, and we'll see how the linebacking unit goes. I love Quincy Williams, but who knows? He might fall off a cliff this year as far as talent-wise. I do think there's a world that they can be really good. A lot of these guys that they have on the defense now were currently on that top 10 defense a couple of years ago. But when you look at the offense, I think their offense is going to put them in some really bad situations, and they're going to be on the field a lot. So I don't know how good they're really going to be. We'll have to wait and see. For now, I got the Jets right here. Okay, let's go to the Seahawks. I hated ranking like 15 through 20 because a lot of these teams I can picture myself being way wrong on. The Seahawks are just weird, man. They're going into year 2 of McDonald, who's a defensive-minded head coach. But honestly, what had me rank them lower than I wanted to was their edge rushers. Their best pass rusher is going to be DeMarcus Lawrence, an aging DeMarcus Lawrence. The one guy that can really shoot up this defense and make them a real problem is going to be Byron Murphy. Loved him coming out of Texas last year. He had an underwhelming rookie year, though. We'll see if he can take that leap. We'll have to wait and see with him. Tariq Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, they can make some plays on the ball, but honestly, they do give up some big plays at times. At the end of the year, the Seahawks end up as a top 3 defense. I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest, but it's because McDonald had a big year and DeMarcus Lawrence is doing his best impression of DeMarcus Ware signing with the Denver Broncos way back then. All right, let's get to the New England Patriots. I have them at 16. This team is weird. I wouldn't say they have talent all over the place. A lot of you guys probably don't even know who they have, but one guy in particular, Christian Gonzalez. They have a potential shutdown corner, if not an already shutdown corner. He was an all-pro last year. Mike Vrabel is going to do some great things with Christian Gonzalez. The one thing that scares me is that this team is just not used to winning. They've been a bottom dweller for the last 2 years. I heard Kyle Duggar might lose his job. He might not even be the starting safety for them. So Mike Vrabel's coming in and picking his own guys. So I do think there's going to be a lot of growing pains with this team. One guy to keep an eye on, Keion White. Keion White is an athletic edge that can do some really big things for the New England Patriots this year. It's a rebuild year for Mike Vrabel. He's going to install his system. He's going to install his mentality into a lot of these young, new guys. We'll have to wait and see. For now, I have him at 16. Let's go to the Detroit Lions. I have them at 15. It's a big drop off from where they were last year. But let's just be honest, it scares me. And Aiden Hutchinson, absolutely amazing. when he's healthy. He's coming off a really big injury, guys. I know the reports out of camp is saying that he's killing it. They got the Aiden Hutchinson rule. I'm sorry. I got to wait and see. I got to see it for myself before I can put him anywhere near the top 10 or top 5. They just lost Aaron Glenn, who's now with the New York Jets. But now they bring in Shepard. They still got Dan Campbell. I think it's going to be a drop-off. And to be quite honest, it wouldn't shock me if it's a more drastic drop-off than I have him right here. It's a lot. Wait and see. We need Terrion Arnold to step his game up. He needs to be that number 1 corner, the guy that they drafted him to be. I'm really interested to see how the season plays out for the Detroit Lions defense. Now we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I love their coaching staff. I like some of their young talents. They got Diaby. They got Kalijah Kancey. They have a good unit as a defensive line. I just don't think they have that alpha guy that they've been wanting for so long. Their DBs kind of scare me as far as their cornerback goes. But one guy to keep an eye on, Tiki Smith. Came out of Georgia last year. He had a great rookie year. I'm looking for him to have a really big leap year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're an edge or a corner from really being elite. For right now, they're really good. All right, the New York Giants. I have them at 13. I want to put them higher. I'm just going to be honest, guys. I think on paper, they got one of the best defenses in the NFL. I'm going to start off with the headline of the defense, the D-line. They got one of the best D-line rooms in the NFL. Dexter Lawrence is as advertised. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league, if not the best. Brian Burns, who had a underwhelming season last year, but he's still good. He's still a really good pass rusher. If you guys didn't know, they just drafted Abdul Carter out of Penn State. I think he's going to be amazing. And if he is amazing, watch out for this D-line. And if Kayvon Thibodeau can just show a little bit of what he can be coming out of Oregon, this D-line is going to be one of the best defensive lines that we have seen the Giants have since probably the JPP Justin Tuck days. You look at some of the other units on the defense, safeties, Tyler Nubin. I think he's going to have a big year coming off of his great rookie year. Bobby Okereke, he's going to be great for the linebackers. Deonte Banks, I love him at corner. Watch out for the New York Giants this year. Abdul Carter might have a Micah Parsons type of impact for the Giants this year. All right, the Houston Texans. I wanted to put them top 10. I really did. They have all the talent to do it. Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter. But I think to a certain point, they're underachieving. It's not that these players are bad. It's not that their coaching staff is bad. I just feel like they have the potential to be the best defense in the league. I'm just kind of worried about how much better can Will Anderson get? How much better can Derek Stingley get? They're already amazing. I'm not saying they're bad. I just don't know if there's another level to their star players. I love Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie. Like I said, it's not a talent issue. I'm just worried about the ceiling. They're still very high on the list. If you're mad at me for putting them this low, I'm not going to argue with you too hard. To me, I just wouldn't be surprised if they're not a top 10 defense. They're a little bit of an underachievers to me. All right, I got the Minnesota Vikings at 11. Trust me, I wanted to put them in my top 10. They were so close. They're really like 10B to me, and the Bears are 10A. The Minnesota Vikings are going to blitz their way out of the top 10, though. I do think they're going to let up some plays at times, but Brian Flores is going to have this defense well prepared. They're going to be well coached. I love the Vikings going into 2025. Ivan Pace, Jonathan Greenyard, Andrew Van Ginkel. You know how much this channel loves Andrew Van Ginkel. And if Harrison Smith can just keep it trucking along, man, the Vikings are going to be just fine. I think they're going to be a good team in general. Love Brian Flores. Love the defense for the Vikings. All right, let's go into number 10. This is going to cause some controversy. I honestly don't think it should, though. I find it crazy that not more people are talking about the Chicago Bears defense. I see it as an upgrade that they lost Eberflus, who had that defense playing really good, but they bring in Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen, terrible head coach. We understand that. As a defensive coordinator, he's absolutely elite. He's going to have this defense playing very, very good. They got the corners to do it. They got the linebackers to do it. And they got one of the best defensive line rooms in the NFL. I love Montez Sweat. I think he's elite. Jalen Johnson, I think he's elite. Tremaine Edmonds, I wouldn't call him elite, but he's still really good. A lot of people are going to be thinking that the offense takes a huge leap and be the star of the show. I think the defense is going to be the star of the show in Chicago, and they're going to bring back that hard-nosed, old-school type of Chicago Bears defense. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills at number 9. Look, they're well coached. I'm banking on the coaching. The talent is not going to amaze you. They got a lot of good players, borderline elite players. I just don't think they have any big difference makers. As far as it goes for the regular season, though, they're going to be just fine. Sean McDermott's going to do his thing. One guy to keep an eye on, though, Cole Bishop, safety. I think he can have a big year. He's finally going to be a starter into that defense. Watch for him to make some big plays. Let's go to the Green Bay Packers. I have them in the top 10. They're at number 8 for me. They're such a young team. And 2 players in particular, Evan Williams and Edgerrin Cooper, who had some pretty good years last year. I can see them taking that huge leap this year. Loved what they did with the cornerback room. They brought in Nate Hobbs from Las Vegas, who I'm very familiar of. I think they're going to love a guy like Nate Hobbs. He's going to bring that hard-nosed defense, hard-hitting, really sticky in coverage. You can play him in the slot. You can play him outside. He's very versatile. Keep an eye on Luke Van Ness. Luke Van Ness is one of those guys where he just needs to figure it out. He has the body to do it. He was very talented coming out of the draft. If he can just put it all together and be that elite pass rusher that they're kind of missing, they can be really good. But for now, they're going to be a great unit regardless if Luke Van Ness breaks out or not. They're going to be a top 10 defense. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have them at 7. There's 3 things that are for sure in life: death, taxes, and the Pittsburgh Steelers having a great defense. I'm going to say this right now. The New York Giants have the best potential to be the best D-line in the NFL. The Steelers currently have the best D-line room as far as edges go in the NFL. Highsmith, TJ Watt, and Nick Herbig, they're ready to go. They're proven. We know what they can do. They're going to be elites. They add Jalen Ramsey. They already had Porter. They added Darius Slay. If Darius Slay can just have a big year, and Jalen Ramsey, like those 2 guys, and not show their age, they're going to be absolutely amazing. They're banking on their defense. They're a defensive team. They're going to want to run the football. And Mike Tomlin, we trust. Steelers at 7. Let's go to number 6. I got the Niners at 6. And everyone is so down on the Niners this year. I know they lost a lot of guys in free agency, Greenlaw, Hufanga. But I think the real problem here is that a lot of people don't realize some of the young talent that the San Francisco 49ers have been stashing the last 1 or 2 years. And not to mention, they still got Nick Bosa, who's one of the best edges in the league, and they got the best linebacker, arguably, in the NFL in Fred Warner. With those 2 guys alone, they're going to be an elite defense. Watch out for Mustafa. Watch out for J-Ron Brown. I didn't like Michael Williams coming out of the draft, but I love the situation that he went to. He went to the San Francisco 49ers, who I mentioned, got Nick Bosa. He doesn't need to be the alpha. All he needs to do is just win his matchup, win his one-on-ones. I think he's going to do that. And just like Khalil Mack his rookie year, the sacks may not come from Michael Williams, and everyone's going to probably shit on him because his sack numbers are not big. From day one, he's going to stop the run. That's going to be bottom line. He's going to be one of the best run stoppers on that defensive line. So I'm not worried about him. And then you add Robert Saleh into the mix. He's going to bring that juice back. He's going to have this defense playing so elite this year. Let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. I got him in at number 5. Spagnuolo, come on. One of the best defense coordinators that we have ever seen. The identity of the Chiefs is not the offense. As much as people want to put it as that, it's not. It's this defense. Chris Jones, future Hall of Famer. They got Trent McDuffie, one of the best corners in the league. George Karlaftis, watch out for him, man. The sacks may come in bunches this year. I think from years past, the sacks haven't been there as far as the numbers go, but watch out for him to really get those numbers up. Maybe even make an all-pro. At the bare minimum, he's going to be a Pro Bowler. Kansas City Chiefs, top 5 defense. Let's move on. Let's go to number 4, another AFC West team. Those damn LA Chargers. As much as I hate to admit it, They don't have a lot of talent. I wouldn't say they're just oozing out with so many elite players all over the place. Really, besides Derwin James and Khalil Mack, who's really their best players, they just really play great as a unit. And it's not surprising when you have Minter and Harbaugh. Those two guys know how to build the defense, and they know how to tell their guys how to play as a unit. And the Chargers played as a unit last year. They were one of the best defenses when it came down to points per game. I doubt they're going to have a major drop-off this year. And just for the people who think Joey Bosa is a big loss, it's not. I hate to tell you, he's past his prime. All he does is get hurt. He wasn't that good for the Chargers last year. Let's move on. Chargers at 4. All right, let's go to number 3. One of my biggest predictions. I wanted to put him in at 1, but I just couldn't. Top 3 is just fine, though. Denver Broncos. Pat Surtain. He won Defensive Player of the Year last year for a reason. He's the best corner in the game. It's not even close. Plus, they added Dre Greenlaw, who's an amazing linebacker. They add in Hufanga, who's a playmaker in the back end. And their D-line room, you may think they don't have an alpha. Watch out for Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito may have a huge year this year. I think he's going to be an alpha guy, especially with that great secondary right behind him. The Denver Broncos are going to be top tier defense this year. I think they're going to have a great year in general, but their defense is going to be the star of the show. At number 2, we got to bring respect to the Philadelphia Eagles. They were the best defense last year. Vic Fangio coming back. Really, their only question mark is their second corner. They just traded for Jacorian Bennett. I don't know who's going to start, whether it's him or Adoree Jackson. Look, Cooper DeJean going to play safety this year. Quinyon Mitchell, he was one of the best corners as a rookie last year. Their defensive line is as advertised. They got Jalen Carter right there. They're going to be elite. Vic Fangio and the boys, bank them in for being the number 2 defense this year. The Eagles are going to be just fine. Now let's go to number 1. Drum roll, please. It's the Baltimore Ravens. Max put them in as the number 1 offense, but honestly, they arguably have the number 1 defense as well. To me, it's a depth thing. They're not an injury away from being bad. It's not like if they lose a guy and they're done for. They already lost a key player before the season even started in Darius Washington at safety. Guess what? It don't matter. They killed the draft. They got the best safety in the draft, Malachi Starks. Not to mention, they arguably got the best safety in the NFL currently in Kyle Hamilton. And oh yeah, they got an all-pro corner in Jair Alexander. And by the way, they also have Marlon Humphrey. The one weakness that this team has is that they don't have the alpha pass rusher. But as a unit, they're just fine. They got one of the best defensive line rooms in the NFL as a whole. One guy that could be the alpha guy though, rookie Mike Green. He fell in the draft because of his character issues. We don't know what's going on right there. But as far as talent goes, Mike Green is as advertised. I think he's going to do some big things in Baltimore. Notice I haven't even got to Roquan Smith yet. They're just absolutely stacked. They're arguably one of the most stacked teams that I have seen in the last 5 years in the NFL. And that's why I have them at number 1. But I think that's going to do it, guys. What do you guys think? Look, I know you guys are going to have disagreements with me. Put that shit down in the comment section. I want to hear it. I want to go at it with you guys. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.